All right, 12 o'clock. We I think we're officially in the go zone. So before we actually start though, we're just gonna wait a minute just for people to join and make sure that everyone's in here. While we're
Yeah.
waiting though, Famad, I'm curious, have you ever done a webinar before or
No, it's my first time.
first time?
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, no, it's same for me as well. It's pretty interesting. It's kind of like a mix between like a podcast and
Yeah,
like Q&A kind of thing, but I mean, I've never done a podcast either, so I guess this is the closest thing that I'll be able
yeah,
to to do as
yeah,
well.
yeah.
But yeah, no worries. We'll just start at 12:01, and yeah, perfect. So we can officially get started. So hello and welcome to the webinar, everyone. So today we'll be discussing how Encore Palliser stepped up their instruction game by working with us here at Synode. We'll be diving into the experience of transitioning from PDFs to interactive like 3D instructions. Before we begin, we'll do an instruction for ourselves. So I'm Michael, and I am the 3D technical operator here at Synode. Below me on my screen, or to my side, is Falmata Osman, who is a CAD technician at Encore Palliser. So Falmata, feel free to give us a brief overview of what Encore is and your role there.
Thanks, Michael, for sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Falmato. So at Encore, we design and manufacture theater recliners. So these are kind of, more focused on theater and cinemas for commercial spaces. And, we kind of focus on design and more luxury feel for our product. And my role, I specifically focus on helping create CAD layouts and theater spaces, and making sure our product, fits seamlessly in any theater space. And another aspect of my role at Encore is creating instructions. So these are installation manuals, service manuals that help, maintenance and service the product over the years.
Awesome. Thank you, Falmata. Before we dive further into the story of Encore Palliser, and more so like the experiences like that you had, I just want to quickly run down over just what Synode is for the new people, that are here. And let me pull this up quickly. So yeah, just for the new people that are here, just to give a brief overview of what Synode is. So as we know, PDFs have been the default for product instructions for a long time now. However, it's very easy to make those PDF instructions confusing by not, providing enough information, improper translations, and other unfortunate circumstances that can make, assembling or disassembling a product, a lot harder than it needs to be. Because, Falmata, I'm sure like you've had an experience where like you ordered a piece of furniture off like Amazon or just a furniture store in general, and you pull out that laminated small piece of paper, and you're going, okay, here we go. You're
Definitely,
basically going to be in for a wild ride.
definitely, yeah.
So basically, what Synode is trying to do is we're trying to develop a self-service software that allows people to take their 3D files and just create very simple instructions that you can see every single detail without like any confusion. Because, I imagine like at Palliser and Encore, which we will dive into later. I'm sure there's confusion on the actual, on the assembly line, and a lot of outdated instructions. So, and that's just like more so just from a customer standpoint in terms of, imagine trying to teach, yeah, entire teams and organizations how their product assembly or production works with like outdated like PDFs and they're raising their hand and going back and forth and it stalls a lot of time, especially for like new hires or like new trainees. So I think anyone would find that tedious. So over here at Synode, we wanted to develop software that solves the confusion that a lot of people have, which is not knowing what they're reading sometimes when it comes to PDF instructions. And yeah, that's where the Synode Builder comes in. So that software that I was talking about, called the Synode Builder. So with the Builder, you can easily create animations that show every detail without putting in too much work and without any 3D experience. or a 3D background. As long as your 3D files have like every component that's needed for the instruction, nothing will be missed. So yeah, now that we've covered who we are and what we're trying to achieve, we'll put the spotlight back onto you. So yeah, what I'd like to do is actually show you guys an actual live demo of what the Synode Builder has to offer. So, Falmana, if you'd like to share your screen, please. We'd like to show a preview of what the builder is, and again, just how easy it is to create instructions. Falmana is
For
going
sure.
to recreate some steps that he created with us, which is labeled the tabletop replacement procedure. And before we go into
Sure.
the live demo, let's just put it out there. Since obviously the webinar is going to end at 12:30, we'll only be doing just a few steps just to get the message across. We're not gonna create like a bunch of steps, but just a few examples.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Okay.
Falmata, just take it away.
For sure. Yeah. So yeah, I'll show you guys a couple steps here for our table replacement. So I have my model in here. I usually like to jump into a nice angle. So, something like this. So for this first step, what I'm hoping to do is kind of get a nice swooping, cinematic perspective and zoom in towards the table here. So I'll create a step here and then zoom in a little bit.
Or a like keyframe system.
Yeah, create a keyframe and then kind of lock in that camera perspective right there, and then create another keyframe and zoom in a bit more, and then get that perspective right there. There we go. So after this, I would want to preview this step just to see what that animation looks like. There we go. Yeah, it looks pretty good.
Yeah, I'm super thankful like that you have the option to just kind of preview the animations as you go because I'm trying so hard because for the people like that don't know, I'm a 3D artist through and through. I love working with 3D, but sometimes working with like traditional like 3D software such as like Maya and 3ds Max, like it's very complex to set up a camera system.
Yeah,
So it's just nice to save the camera angle that you have as the preview and then just save basically where you are and then just preview the animation. It's just
yeah,
super simple.
yeah, definitely. And then kind of
And
allows you to, fix anything, you might see as you're
yeah, no,
editing.
exactly. And for the step here, do you want to add the text first, just so we can kind of
Yeah,
give viewers
for sure. Yeah,
a chance to look?
I actually have the text here. So this is kind of the first step. So kind of write any instruction you might need, whether it's a step or welcoming the user, saying welcome to this instruction. So in this step one, I mentioned remove the cup holder by loosening the locking screw. So once you press confirm, as you might have seen in the preview, it'll start, showing you the text at the bottom and then plays the audio as well.
I'm not sure for this example, like if we can hear the audio, but yeah, it does
Oh,
automatically
okay.
generate TTS, text to speech. So
Yeah.
like there's no hassle for that as well. Another cool feature that I do want to show as well is if you go back to that and click the translate to all other languages, not the preview, but the edit step. Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you click translate to other languages there, if you haven't already. So
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Perfect. Yeah, translate to other languages really quickly. Now, if you go to the other languages, it automatically just translates to the other languages for you.
Yeah. This is a great feature.
And if I'm not
Um,
mistaken, we have like 8 total languages for that as well. So that was a really
yeah.
cool feature that we wanted to add because definitely there's a lot of products that go like worldwide, right? So you definitely wanted to make that clear and important. One of like the first things to
Yeah.
add in there. But yeah, perfect. So really simple, adding text, translating to other languages, and super simple. So yeah, feel free to move on to the next step, Lamada.
For sure. So for this step two here, I'll show an animation of the cup holder being removed. So I selected the cup holder. I'm going to create another keyframe here. and then
Simply
I'll,
move it up, right? Yep.
yeah, simply move it up,
There
and
you
then
go.
it'll show in that keyframe that it's moved up, and then I'll create another one, and show the the cup holder disappearing.
Yep.
There we go. And then we could preview this to see what it looks like. And then it shows gets lift up and then disappears. And then this would be a great opportunity to, put in that instruction for step two, saying lift to the cup holder and put it to the side, as we're going to be removing the tabletop.
Yeah, perfect.
And I'll go to this last step here. So step three. For this one, I'll kind of change the camera angle a little bit just to get a bit underneath the table. So I'll create a second keyframe here, zoom in a little bit, and then angle myself right there, and then
Yep.
update that. There we go. And then for my next keyframe, I'm gonna select these screws here.
And actually, I'm going to stop you right here as well. So before you actually shift click individually, which you can do, if you go to the scene tree and click focus selection, it'll actually take you to the highlighted meshes. So
Yeah,
that way you can actually shift click like the actual meshes that you can in that tree as well, saving you even more time. So if you want to just do an example of that as well,
for sure. Yeah, so these are all the screws that I would want to select. So I'll select this one here and then shift click.
shift click to the last screw.
There we
Yep,
go.
perfect. And shift click.
So all of it is selected now. And
Yep,
then I'll come out a little bit just to see my grabber here and then bring down those screws,
yep, yeah,
and then
perfect.
gets updated there in my keyframe. And then I'll create another keyframe.
And then if you want to jump back to that camera angle, all you have to do is just press that refresh camera angle as well if you want to do that right there too.
Exactly. So if I jumped back right here for my next keyframe,
Yep,
and then
perfect.
I could hide all these screws as well. There we go. Yeah, so then for this step three, I'll probably preview it as well just to see how it's looking. So scoops down, shows those screws coming down and then disappears.
Yep, perfect.
Okay, now I'll essentially kind of reverse those instructions back. So as if you're kind of, putting things back together, once you're done your replacement. Okay, so I'll jump into this keyframe. I'll come to my screws here, select my screws, and then unhide them. And then I'll create another keyframe, come back out, and then I'll change their origin point back to 0 so that they're back to the table.
Yep,
Perfect.
that's done with the object properties panel. So everything's at 0, back to its default position.
Looks good there.
Yep,
And then I'll create another keyframe and just kind of jump back up here. And then we'll create a step 5 here. Here, I'll delete that. And then in this step, we'll bring back the cup holder.
yep,
So in this keyframe here, I'll search up for the cup holder. There it is. And then I'll unhide it.
yep. Bring
And
that
then
back, and then just bring it back down.
and then bring it back down. So I'll just bring back to my origin of 0, enter, and then there it is. So I could have another quick preview just to see how this step looks. Comes in. Perfect.
Yeah, perfect. And those are the 5 steps that I think we wanted to show right there. And what was that, like 5 minutes? Not even.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, but that's basically like that's basically the message that we really wanted to point across, where creating simple animations, like you don't have to use traditional software and render out like 30-minute sequences for 5-second animations. the goal of this is that like anyone can use this to really promote their product and get the message across because um, when you're looking at a PDF, like you obviously can't, rotate the object like you can right now. Like if you want to do a quick example and kind of just rotate around the chair, if you can literally see,
Yeah.
every detail that you can to really show off, everything and to make sure that no detail gets missed. That's
Yeah, you could
really
even
the
go under the
important
seat.
message. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like one model can, generate like multiple procedures and instructions that you have like in your production line. So, you can literally like save this as another instruction, can copy and paste this over and yeah, it's just like super simple. So now that we have uh, our instruction finished, there's just some questions I'd like to ask you as well for this. So the first one being, so what exactly is Encore's goal with these interactive guides? So I believe you told me its main focus is for your assembly line, but maybe you can go into more detail.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. A lot of our documents or PDFs have either been outdated or sometimes clients might not fully understand them or, want something a bit more easier to understand. So that's something we were, hoping to achieve with Synode, creating instructions that's easy to understand. It's very concise and gives you, something visual, something easy to comprehend, right?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
and I think that's what we've been achieving. And what I mentioned about the assembly line is, like you said, there's so many different people that might look at your product. Our manufacturing team is in Mexico, right? So a lot of
Mm,
times our instructions are in English, and the
yeah, there you
translation
go.
might create a lot of confusion, right? So having that language feature, being able to switch to Spanish, whenever it's needed, and as well as having a visual aid as well. Let's say if they don't want to see the text, they want to be able to see what part are you talking about specifically. That's something we can show directly there.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, like and again, like hearing that, it really puts a smile on our faces because it's really nice to see that like we're helping people in a sense that like yeah, like with that translation, just like I said earlier, like it just a lot of things can get lost or PDFs don't really get, updated like, not well. So or it can take forever with the process. But with the builder, you can literally just add in things basically with one button. You can just
Yeah, yeah,
add things, make new projects, to update, basically update your 3D model instead of like updating and shipping out millions of things again. So it definitely will save on time and money. I really like to think as well.
for sure.
So, and the second question, which I believe you answered a little bit already, but I think I want to go like more in depth, just to really understand what was happening, before you transitioned to us with Synode. So you said like there was some confusion, not only with the manufacturing team, but have you ever heard any confusion, feedback, maybe even complaints from like past clients or customers, like from your guys' PDF instructions?
Yeah. Yeah. Scenarios I've seen is, outdated instructions. Even for myself, like I've been at an installation site and, I've asked them if they've received any instructions. And then one of our clients, he pretty much pulled out his phone and showed me a PDF. And as I was looking at the PDF, I'm like, oh, this was done years ago. Like this is not something that we've updated or anything. And usually what happens is with clients is once they receive a document or install manual, they will just keep that with them and, use that through all the many sites that they go to. They don't, usually have a chance to update it or, get updated instructions, right?
Oh
So
yeah.
I've seen scenarios like that and, it creates a lot of confusion where they're getting, our new product, but they're using an older manual and things might not align, perfectly.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. So I'm seeing here that we're approaching 12:20. So let's jump back into the builder because I just really want to show that once you finish, your animation or project or instruction guide, there's a million terms for it. So what I'd like you to do is just click save at the top right, just so it saves all your progress. because once that's officially saved, then we'll actually have the chance to actually publish your project and really just see how easy it is to kind of just share your project with the world and attach it to your products. So yeah, by clicking publish in the top right, the teal button, it should bring up a pop-up that'll say, do you want to publish this project? Click publish. So now, if you'd like to go to the top left, where it shows the Synode logo and drop-down arrow, we can click sharing. And from here, you have a bunch of different options to really just share your projects via a QR code. You could literally print this QR code and just slap it right in the box of your product. So when customers actually scan the QR code, it literally takes you directly to the instruction that they can view. You can copy it via URL. So, I mean, if you wanted to, you could literally open up a new tab and copy that URL and then preview that like right away. And lastly, with the embedding code, so if you guys have your own websites, uh, that has your products, you can actually attach like this entire instruction, like interactive instruction, like onto your website, so people can scroll through and see how your product works, how it gets assembled. So I think that's really cool. And perfect. And another feature that I really love to show as well, Famata, is if you just X out of this as well, and you go to the top left again. Yep. So if you go to the registration and click that, yeah, perfect. And just toggle that on. So if you wish, at the end of your instructions and animations, if you want customers to actually register with your product and give them like your email and their name, their information, you can absolutely do so by toggling that on. So as you can see here, they'll input their first and last name, their email, their date of purchase, for that product that gets attached, or or optional any serial numbers or instruction sheet numbers. So perfect. So it'll cancel. And then I want to show the feedback as well. So this is one of the latest things that we added to the Synode builder, and again, many more things to come as well. But for the product feedback, so you can actually add this at the end of your instructions as well. So for any feedback to where if there could be any details missing or if people are not understanding well, they can rank it on a scale of 0 to 10, leave their name and email, and actually leave a custom review that lets you know like what's exactly going wrong. Or where they get confused, so you can go back to your project and make changes, and then just save it, and then it automatically gets saved without having to ship a million more PDFs across the
Yeah.
world, and it makes a
Yeah.
lot of lives easier.
Yeah, just to add, Michael, I would say this is like a really great feature because from Encore's perspective, we're constantly looking for like customer feedback, seeing what they think about our products, what they think about our instruction.
Mm,
So being able to have this feature where, they could tell us, oh, maybe add this step, to kind of give more clarity, or this step wasn't needed, during installation, that would help us to know exactly what's happening on site, and as well as what could make things a bit more efficient, during the install process.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, I thank you for your feedback. So
Yeah,
no worries there. So yeah, perfect. I would like to show like a lot more features that we have, but obviously since we're a little bit strict on time, what I'd like is to actually ask the audience if they have any questions. So the last 5 minutes can be a Q&A session, and Falmata or I can answer any questions that you have for Synode at Encore. So yeah, guys, feel free to leave any questions, comments, feedback.
yeah,
But yeah, let me just make sure that. Let me just make sure that I have the chat enabled. Because let me just say, it has been a while since I've actually used Zoom. I'm not sure about you, but it's been quite a while.
yeah, same.
Webinar chat to everyone. So I believe that should be enabled now, so people can ask their questions. If I'm not mistaken. I just set it to everyone. Panelists can chat with everyone. Attendees can chat with everyone. So I just, yeah, attendees can chat with everyone. And then let's see. Q&A. And then questions. Hmm, interesting. Yeah, I'm so used to Google Meet that yes, there we go. So one person asked, what about analytics? So that's a good question right there, actually. So if I click answer that live, so what about analytics? So Synode does actually have an analytics feature. So if you actually upgrade to a plan which allows analytics, then you'll actually be able to see basically everything that goes on, like to see like which step a person has viewed the most, seeing where they actually view your model the most, and it gives you a kind of an insight to see, okay, like what are people like mostly focusing on, like on your line of products, and maybe there could be problems as well that will allow you to see what they're seeing. Another person just asked what 3D file types are supported in Synode. So as of right now, we support FBX, OBJ, and the most recommended GLBs and or GLTFs. Yeah, we really recommend GLBs because GLBs are the most web friendly, and with Synode, it's all on the web, so you can actually use it via any device, but it's mainly through the web. Like you don't have to download any software; you can just do any edits through the web as well. Another person just asked, has Falmata ever used the highlights feature? I saw the highlights tab in the object properties area. I believe you have with the official instructions. I'm not sure if we have time to show it. Maybe we can if you want to quickly share your screen again, Falmata, while I answer some other questions that people may have as well.
Sure.
Um,
Yeah, so I could kind of give my perspective of the highlight feature. It's definitely something I've used a lot. As you can see, in our on our recliner, a lot of the stuff parts are black, so it kind
yep.
of gets a bit difficult to see exactly what part you're kind of highlighting or
Oh
instructing.
yeah, absolutely.
So if I jump into this keyframe here,
Yeah, exactly.
and show these screws. Let's say, I want to highlight, let's say these two screws, just to say, make sure you don't lose these screws or put these screws to the side. So I would jump into this highlight feature, select highlight selection. So it makes it white right now, but let's say I want something a bit brighter, for that's easier to see. So I could pick like a nice bright yellow color, and then
Yep,
in
and there
the
you
steps
go.
shows it right there. So the highlight feature is definitely something I've used a lot, and it's kind of enhanced our instructions as well. Being able to clearly see what object we're indicating, and then as well as reducing confusion. Does he mean this part or this small one here? So
Yeah,
when you highlight it,
perfect.
it's right there. So
And we have quite a few questions as well, but we're a little strict on time, so I will answer these questions as quick as possible. So, do the embeds work on mobile too, like an iPad? So, yes, Synode works across all devices. We've tested it with great performance. So, like iOS, Android, Google phones, it works across all of that as well. And another person asked, "What?" So, Falmata, what was the learning curve for you? Like when you were transitioning from CAD maybe like to the builder, was it an easy transition for
yeah.
you working the builder?
I would definitely say so. Obviously I have a design background, but compared to all the other, 3D modeling softwares, like Synode is definitely very user friendly. And it's something I would say anyone could pick up and probably catch on to it right away. So and that's one big aspect that I liked about Synode.
Yeah, perfect. I'm not sure if the webinar has ended now, but just in case, we'll answer just one more question here, and that's how is the versioning of the product managed? So actually, we can show that really quickly if you want to just pull up your screen again.
Yeah,
And then, yeah, if you go to the top left, you should be able to save as. So you can actually save it as a different version because if there's another version that actually works with this, exact model, and you just want to kind of, not have the hassle of dragging it in and creating a new project, you can absolutely do that. So if you'd like to just click new version and it'll show you, uh, you don't actually have to click save if you don't want to, but you can actually save as a new version. You can name it, or it will actually automatically name it for you for the version. So it's
yeah,
just version 2 if you want to continue working on that, or you can actually save it as a new project entirely, which there was the option for that as well. So for the new project, you can change the name, but for the versioning, it just names it for you just to save you in more time there. Uh, but yeah, perfect. I think that's all the questions that we'll answer for today. Falmata, thank you so much for joining me today and giving your insight and experience working with us. Hopefully, that's a lot of your clients, customers, and manufacturers are a lot more happy with these types of guides to help them.
for sure. Yeah, I appreciate it, Michael. It's been great.
Yeah, perfect. So thank you so much for joining, and hopefully we can do another webinar soon because yeah, this was a great experience for me because I believe this was our first webinar for both of us.
Yeah.
All right, Falmata, take it easy.
All right. Take care.
Take care.